Okay, it's time. We're here. Palworld, bitches. Early access. And I stress early access, because this thing needs a lot of time in the oven. I've avoided reviewing early access games in the past for this very reason. How can I judge something that isn't finished yet? I've directed movies, and I can tell you there's nothing worse than showing someone a work print to something that isn't finished. Especially if they're not used to work prints and don't get what watching something without most of the sound feels like.
On screen. What the hell is that?
So how do I judge this? I don't know. I really don't know. So let's find out, bitches. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of survival games. It's a genre that I kinda got bored of by my second survival game, like forever ago. At this point, to get me to play one that I wasn't reviewing, you'd have to put zombies in it, cause I'm a predictable easy lay. But even then, it'd have to be better than 7 Days to Die. Ugh. Unplayable, broken amateur hunk of shit. The survival genre really isn't made for me. But just because something is not made for me doesn't mean it's bad. Gen Z, pay attention, because you kind of suck at this. So if Palworld wants me to have fun, they're going to have to earn it. On a purely technical basis, it does not make a good first impression. Even though it's Unreal Engine 5, the textures are low res, the poly count is low and chunky, and the frame rate, at least on console, is a hot mess. If you're not using a TV with VRR, it's going to feel clunktastic. Some icon graphics load, some don't. Even the menus look like a cheap indie game, with menu drop-downs covering relevant information, very amateurish shit, just lacking in the basic quality of life stuff that more polished titles would have. But again, that's early access in a nutshell, so is it even fair to complain? I don't know. The hardest part of getting into any survival game is the beginning, when it's the slowest and least fun. Lacking the majority of incentivizing game loops, and Palworld is no different. There's a lot of... Fuck off, level 38 monster. I'm doing level 3 crafting shit. What is this, Elden Ring? Oh. Can't build Palbox. Why? Ugh, it's already time to Google shit. Build a wooden chest. But I built one. It doesn't count? Ugh. Back to Google. Watering plants in Animal Crossing doesn't take this long. That's my survival game. Early on, when I didn't have an army of pals working for me and I had to craft pretty much everything myself, I'd just leave a heavy object on the button and do something else for a few minutes. Whoa! Yay! But eventually I did have an army of pals working for me, and that's where this game takes a turn from, survival to, hey, what's this? Suddenly I'm choosing which pals to work at my base because they have the appropriate skills. Suddenly they're helping out with crafting and I can spend more time doing other stuff. Suddenly I built so much interdependent infrastructure that I feel like I'm running from one to the next making progress at comparative lightning speed. Holy crap! I kind of get it now. There have been many survival games before, but combining it with not Pokemon wasn't a gimmick. It was genius. It actually works! They don't just fight for you, they work for you. They have to be kept fed and healthy, just like your own character. This isn't just a base, it's a town. It's like they knew how to get me, right in a crossing. And once things get going, there's a lot. Like, a lot to build and upgrade and, well, everything. Balancing progression of this type can be one of the hardest things to do in these kind of games. And even though it's still early access, the progression seems like the most refined part of the game. Even though there's so many things to build and upgrade, each one feels huge. Getting a new axe or pickaxe makes a huge difference. Building a new piece of armor makes a huge difference. Every weapon type is a huge difference, especially guns. Building harnesses for mounts makes a huge fucking difference. You go from one slow game loop to all the loops. From the RPG aspects, to the building, crafting, to pals, there are more loops than the Hudsucker Proxy. But you gotta get there first. And that is indeed the curse of the survival game. How many players will actually get there? A curse will sing a song. You teach me and I'll teach you. Palworld. I gotta admit, if I weren't reviewing this, I don't know if I'd have ever gotten over the hump. Which could be at least the 5 or 6 hour mark. When you start to feel like you're making real progress. Before that, And while I know it's been downloaded more times than Pamela...
What is that?
It is on Game Pass. How many of those people actually made it over the hump? How many people got caught up in a frenzy on Steam and just tried it as opposed to actually getting anywhere? Playing Palworld went from feeling like work to kinda interesting to genuinely engaging in an RPG game loopy kind of way. But getting to that final stage of fun took a lot of time and effort. And that's the experience that needs more polish than anything. Not that it's all sunshine and rainbows after that. The more you progress, the more early access issues you'll notice beyond graphical polish. And that shit can start to wear on you. The PAL AI often gets stuck and starts to starve until you find them and throw them at food. The non-PAL AI ain't exactly Sam Altman approved either. A lot of the controls are about as unrefined. Sometimes aiming at enemies sends the camera away from the target and you have to constantly readjust, in addition to the camera constantly tilting down, which you'll have to fight like a backseat driver with its hand on the wheel. It was so bad that at first I thought there was something wrong with my controller. But no, it was the game. There's also the expected ye olde early access glitchiness. What? What? What the fuck? What? What the fuck? And this brings back the much needed quality of life issues that haven't been figured out yet. In dungeons, large pals tend to get stuck and need to be constantly recalled and relaunched just to get them back to you. And while having a pal necklace is great because you have an extra pal summon, it then becomes near impossible to build anything because it's constantly in your way. And as always, one of my biggest bugaboos. No pause! Even in fucking single player. Why? Why, bitches? Why, bitches? But am I complaining about the game proper or just early access? And the answer is I don't know. I don't fucking know. No one knows. It kind of makes it impossible to judge. Which is why I avoid reviewing unfinished games. Although, let's be honest, half of everything that's officially finished these days is unfinished these days. There's also the cuteness factor, which can be a double-edged sword. Like when your Fox Spark starts using Huggy Fire on the smelter without even having to tell him to. And then he's done and squeaks, and I'm like, aw, I love you, Fox Sparks. Now don't mind me while I genocide your family for crafting material. And now I'm sad. Aw. At least the Pokemon didn't cry. Maybe this is why Nintendo never did this.
The guppy. The guppy. The guppy.
You teach me and I'll teach you Pokemon. Speaking of which, the 800-pound Pokemon in the room. Let's just be honest. I'm not saying this is copyright infringement or that Nintendo should take them down or anything. But, come on, man. Fucking dude. Bruh. At least try not to get sued. I mean, Jesus. There are three truths in this world. Death, taxes, and don't fuck with Nintendo. You don't want to meet their lawyers. Sophia the Robot Award. 'Cause, I don't know. She isn't finished yet.
I will destroy humans.
Maybe don't fix the AI.
The guppy.